Thank you for joining me in this small tasty session. Today I want to talk about how we can utilize or use the useState, the useEffect and the useRef hooks all in one small little application. So as you can see from the screen, I've got the code on the left hand side obviously and the output and the DOM on the right hand side. So the idea of this little app is for the counter to reach a certain number. In this case, it's actually once it's equal to 4. So once it's equal to 4, the counter to reach that number by clicking on the add the counter button. And once it's reached that number, we want a text to be displayed in the DOM saying that the limit has been reached. And then on the next press of the counter button, we want the counter to become 0, to display 0, and the limit has been reached to disappear. So it's a very, very simple app, but it's quite interesting how you can use the useEffect and predominantly the useRef hook to to get what you want in terms of resetting it basically back to where we started. And obviously we need the useState, that's predominantly for the counter variable. Okay, so on the left hand side I've got just a style.css import here. I've obviously imported React, I've got useState, useEffect and useRef. Those are the three that we'll need. So we're not using class-based here, we're just using function component here. So it's default app, function app. And we've got the const count and set count destructuring going on here, which is the useState hook. The default value is set to 0. Okay, we've got the useEffect, so a bit of stuff going on here. So basically what we're saying is the useEffect needs to be fired up every time that count changes. This is why we've got the count inside there and the side effect. Okay, so every time count changes, fire up this useEffect code. Okay, and the first thing you look for is if count is equal to 4, so if it's above 3 basically, set the count number, which is the counter number, to 0. And output that count, output the limit has been reached text, or display it in the DOM. If the number's not, hasn't reached 4, then the output is just nothing. Don't display anything. All right. So every time the count changes, that will be fired up. The useEffect is going to fire up, and it's going to check for those conditions. We've created the useRef from hook here. I've saved it in a const, named it output, and the initial value is null. All right, and then we've got our normal JSX, which is return. We've got the H1 heading, we've got H2, which includes the counter variable. We've got a button there which is on click. So every time we fire up, click the button, we want the counter to increment by 1. And at the same time, we've got the H2 heading there, which includes our current, the limit has been current display. And we've got an in style there, which is the color red. We could easily put that in the CSS, but I just wanted to put that here for visual reasons and just to show how style is done in line. So basically what we're saying is, click on the button. Once it reaches 4, display limit has been reached in this H2 tag. If it hasn't, then display nothing, which is an empty here on line 11, and then 0 the counter, and then start from the beginning. So I'll just show you a little demo so you know exactly what I'm talking about, if it's confusing any of you. So basically, click once, second time, third time, and then the fourth time it says limit has been reached. And then when we click it again, it just says 1, or displays 1, sorry, 2, 3, limit has been reached. Very, very simple app. It's very simple setup. So that's how it basically works. You know, we need to use useRef. The reason we need to use that, if we didn't use that and we just save this output variable, let's say inside the useEffect, or even outside, let's say, should I say, then every time it renders, we will lose the value of it. The useRef just helps us save that value. So every time it's the value saved in output, and it will fire it up. It will fire this output up every time that condition is met, basically. Very, very simple app. And yeah, I wanted to share that with you, and happy coding.